Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Beaters, and if you're new to the channel, I am Oldhead Gaming. May the 4th be with you, and of course, I am wearing sunglasses, which it probably looks freaking weird, and that's because I've had a low-grade migraine all day that I just can't seem to shake, but I already waited 24 hours so I could actually collect my thoughts on what I wanted to say on this video. Now, yesterday, a Twitter account, DBD, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, known for dropping leaks and upcoming information, dropped a big one that the Chapter 28 7th anniversary was not going to be what we were all talking about. We all thought it was going to be Alien or Five Nights at Freddy. Even Jason Voorhees was being talked about as some sort of awesome crossover chapter. And they reported it was going to be original. A lot of content creators did knee-jerk, raw emotion reactions. And I actually didn't want to do that because I felt like I would look back on the video and say a lot of stuff I didn't really want to. So I decided to take a day to think about it. And now I have to look at it kind of a little more pragmatically. Is this a bad thing for Dead by Daylight, or is it not? Well, let's take a look at the last year. If everyone was around in year 6 anniversary when they dropped the Roots of Dread update, it was not received very well. Now, I know Hattie has now gotten herself some sort of like cult fan base, but for the most part, most people don't like that chapter. The Garden of Joy was one of the worst maps that has ever dropped. And for the most part, everyone felt horrifically underwhelmed as an anniversary chapter. And I think most people would agree that if Roots of Dread was dropped as a non-anniversary, it would have probably been received better. Well, over the year, we've had one crossover. That was the return to Capcom and doing Project W, where we got Wesker, of course, and Rebecca and Ada. And then the rest has been original. We're now going to be on the 3rd original chapter in a row since Project W, and that's kind of weird. And I know people have come to got higher expectations from Dead by Daylight because of all the crossovers we've had, and this will be the first time in a anniversary to an anniversary since they really started doing crossovers that we just got the one. We got Forged in Fog for Chapter 26, which wasn't very well received. We got Tools of Torment for Chapter 27, which was even worse received. And here we are in Chapter 28, and it's not going to be a crossover chapter. It's not going to be a guest characters. We're not getting Xenomorph and Ripley. We're getting the new killer, the Singularity. And I'll show you what Leaks by Daylight had. They had some additional information in case you haven't seen it. And the new survivor will be Gabriel Soma. So we get a new killer and a survivor. No word on a map yet. There's some other information that we might have some sort of community vote going on as well. But it kind of was a gut punch yesterday. Here's what the power looks like for the Singularity before I move on. According to Leaks by Daylight, the power for the Singularity will be inspired by Dredge. The new killer's power is called Dimensional Rift and allowed him to create 2 portals on any flat surface and then teleport from place to place on the map. When the killer teleports, he generates an energy blast around him, which will make all nearby survivors scream, revealing their aura for a few seconds. The power to create portals has a cooldown. Survivors can interact with the portals to close them and not allow the killer to use the power. However, the killer can swap locations of the various portals on the map. The power of the killer becomes stronger as the game goes on. The fact he improves mobility, ability to detect survivors within certain radius, and attack capabilities. Now, this is supposed to be dropping on May 23rd on the PTB. This was some of the posts by David yesterday, you know, basically saying all the stuff that they had reported was 100% not fake and that this was going to be the anniversary chapter. Even so far as we had the original drop, people have been now making sketches of what the Singularity might look like, which this is kind of a cool by the #1 Dredge enjoyer, like someone who enjoys playing Dredge, so someone actually liked the Roots of Dread pack, but like now we basically have it where we know what's probably happening. So now we know what's probably happening, and some people have been really disappointed. I've seen a lot of negative feedback. I'm trying to keep an open mind, but I get it. The anniversary used to be the mecca for DBD. It used to be where we would get some cool crossover, some big event would happen, and now it's not. The anniversary is getting deflated year after year, and it makes you feel like behavior is kind of putting one foot in the grave. Now, we're seeing weird things happening with DBD all the time, the changes they've made to healing. The game feels very killer heavy, and I'm a killer main, and I still feel like it's pretty killer heavy. And this is something I think we were all looking for, and we did not get it. I feel like after 2 consecutive original chapters, no one wanted a 3rd original chapter at the anniversary. I've seen a bunch of amazing videos from content creators who the guest character in Chapter 28 could have been, and it turns out the answer is no one. And I feel like we're getting to this point now where people are going to start expecting less and less from DBD, which may or may not be a good thing. I feel like our expectations were pretty high, but then again, like, I feel like that's good around a game. Having high expectations, having high interest around a game usually means more people are going to play it. And when people start getting disappointed over and over again, it sets a bad precedent. Now, I'm not saying we're not getting guest characters ever again. I think it's very probable that this year's Halloween chapter will be Five Nights at Freddy due to the deal they made with Blumhouse, the new movies dropping, they're doing the Dead by Daylight movie. Like, it makes a lot of sense. But it made a lot of sense to have a new chapter of a guest killer and survivor for this chapter as well. So who knows? And I don't know how most people are feeling right now, but I know what I'm seeing on Twitter, what I'm seeing on Reddit, what I've seen in videos, what I've seen in comments, what I saw on my own chat last night. A lot of people just seem disgruntled, disappointed, underwhelmed. I mean, we're going to see the full version of what's coming up when Behavior does their yearly review stream, and that's last year when we found out we were getting the Roots of Dread, and then of course they also brought up we had that crossover with Attack on Titan not long after that. But I feel like this has been a year where a lot of people have not been thrilled with the content that is being provided, and I'm not sure what we can expect. Now, who knows, maybe there's some big crossover coming, and maybe we'll get another guest chapter right after it like we did with Project W after the Roots of Dread, but I don't know. And I feel like it's a situation where I didn't want to come out and just be like, rah, rah, game's dead. Because that's not true. The game isn't dead. But this does not put great footing for Dead by Daylight. And I wanted to be a little more thoughtful in the words I chose. Because sometimes we as content creators can let the situation kind of get ahead of us and react to it with a little more fervent approach to it, and I didn't want to do that, so I decided to make this video. I want to hear your thoughts on what you think on this new upcoming chapter. Are you happy that it's not a guest? Are you really mad about it? Which you're right to feel both ways, and I don't judge you for either choice. I just want to know what you're thinking. As always, thanks for watching, and later, mates.